I'm Bob Pett.
And Lisa Pett.
We live here in Slingerlands.
Great. How long have you been here?
We have been here almost 4 years.
And what made you decide to put a renewable energy system on your home?
Well, I had been researching the energy market in relation to investments, stocks, about 4 years ago, 3 years ago now, and came upon the information that we were headed for a major increase in energy prices, oil, natural gas, and I was aware of global warming, and I had just been doing some research and came across the NYSERDA, New York State Energy Research Development Authority website, and this great program that they had in terms of subsidizing solar and wind. I even researched wind, but I didn't think it would look too good here. And then I started looking at their certified installers and made some calls and just kind of progressed from there and convinced my wife that it was not going to look like a high school science experiment gone awry on our roof.
Immediately found it interesting because I thought it was very progressive, and I liked the idea of doing the right thing for the environment. But I did because we're in a suburban neighborhood, and I had a little bit of a concern as far as what would this look like, and would people, and how would it be received by neighbors. But then looking at pictures and talking about it a little more, I started to realize that it was really the right thing to do.
So not only is it good for the environment, it's great for our energy bill. I mean, we had 4 months last year where we just paid the connection charge for electricity, and we had $16 a month. And in some months we generated more electricity than we used, so that offset other months. So we had a number of months last year, 6 months, where we had minimal electric bills.
Okay.
It is a 5.6 kilowatt system. It is 33 Kyocera 170 watt panels, and its maximum rated output is 5.6 kilowatts.
Gotcha.
I realized that we had a great sun exposure here, southern, south-facing exposure, and I just wanted to get as many panels up on the roof as I could. We went for the biggest, the panels with the most output, and I worked with renewable power systems and sizing it. I would have loved to have gotten more up there, but there is just a little bit of shadow, late in the day, and if you have areas that are in shadow and areas that are not, that could result in you needing an additional inverter.
Okay.
So we wanted just one inverter.
This is the equipment in the Pett garage that converts the DC power from the PV panels into AC power for the house to use. This box here on the left is a junction box for the DC wires that come from the different arrays, separate sections of PV panels with wires coming down into this box to get aggregated, interconnected, and before it goes into the inverter on the right. The inverter is a Fronius 1G, and its job is, again, to convert the DC power into AC power. Also, it has to synchronize with the grid, so depending on the amount of power being produced and the amount of power needed by the home, it either will send power to the community and the grid or use it in the appliances in the home. Included with their inverter is an onboard monitor that shows the real-time production of PV electricity. Also, there is AC disconnects and DC disconnects for any maintenance that needs to happen on the system. And to the right of the inverter is an electric meter, gives you a sense of the total amount of power produced over time.
I just made some calls around, and it was just initial conversations that led me to Mike Stengel at Renewable Power Systems and Pete Rose, I think his name is. Mike came out. First we did a blower door test because we were interested in, we also had the house air sealed, re-insulated the attic. We have R54 in the attic. We vented the house properly in the bathrooms. Previously the venting had been into the attic, which is a big source of mold. And so Mike helped me determine what we really needed to do. So first we did an assessment on our energy consumption in the house, how efficient the house was, air leaks, that kind of stuff. So by just doing what we've done, we've re-insulated the house, air sealed the house, we put an energy recovery ventilator in, solar panels, changed out some of the appliances, went to compact fluorescent bulbs. I mean, we've knocked probably $150 to $200 a month off our bill, you know, over the past year, because we were approaching $350, $400 a month in the wintertime, which is crazy. I mean, in Seattle, the rates out there were lower. They have a lot of hydropower, and we were not used to paying that. I mean, a big bill out there for a similar sized house was $100 a month. Yeah, we're more conscious. It's always nice to get an electric bill that you know, is minimal, so we can see the real benefit of conserving. And we've switched to all compact fluorescent bulbs wherever we could in the house.
I think it being here now it just makes us, I think, conscious of all types of energy saving ways of doing it. You know, just everything from bulbs to, you know, making sure that we recycle, and I think it just makes you think about what, you know, why you're doing, what, you know, why we did it, and what and how it really all of those factors together combine to you know, to have the best, you know, the most effect.
Right. Did you bring anybody over to watch your meter spin backwards in your backyard at all?
Yeah, a few people.
Yeah.
People do ask, and people do actually, getting back to the, you know, comments from neighbors and people, we do get a lot of inquiries about, well, so what happens to your electric bill? You know, what is it? Because I think people, they look at it, they think it's cool, but then in the back of their heads, I think they're thinking, does it really make a difference? And a couple of people, when they've asked and they hear the difference, they look pretty shocked.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think most people really think about it very much. You know, you just get your electric bill and you just pay it, and everyone grumbles about how astronomical the rates are, and you just kind of get to this point where you just think there's nothing you can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, until you start to, like Bob started to, you know, look into it and researched it, and then you realize, you know, yes, you can do something. And I think a lot of people, like, they think of the initial outlay, and then they that's what stops them, you know, and they just think, oh, that's, you know, you're never going to make that up, or I can't do that.
It was a very sweet deal from NYSERDA. You know, they subsidized the price of the entire system quite a bit, and then we got a number of refunds and tax credits, and so it really, out-of-pocket expenses was not that great. It's a $40,000 system, and I think out-of-pocket was less than $15,000.
Really?
Yeah. Right now it's about 15 years, but as rates increase, which they're bound to, I mean, when was the last time we saw a rate decrease?
It's guaranteed.
The payback period will shorten. And I've just read recently that we should be expecting even bigger rate increases in the near future. Apparently there's a lot of leverage buyouts that are going on, private equity that's going to be taking over power companies. Recently TXU in Texas, that's a power company that was taken over by a private equity group. And that is going to create, even though they advertise it as very green, what they're doing, the rates are going to go up there because it's a leveraged buyout, and they have to make money for their investors.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think that, you know, the bottom line with, if you're thinking about doing something like this, is you really have to be looking at the big picture, and you have to be thinking long term. If you're just thinking about the cost today, the initial outlay, or getting the quickest payback possible, that you know, you can't think that way.
If you're really concerned about global warming, you know, this is one thing that you can do.